welcome to Youth Voices of Greater Cincinnati. My name is Jack Tillman, and
I'm Kyle Morris.
we have a very special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Chief Aaron L. Tillman III, Woodlawn Police Division.
Hello, Mr. Tillman. We're going to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
And what inspired you to join the police force?
I had some family members who were in law enforcement. There was also a school resource officer who took an interest in my development. He saw that I might not have been going in the right path when I was in high school, and he kind of steered me to consider law enforcement as a career.
So how many family members were in the police?
Three. I had three members of my family that were in law enforcement at some point.
And what were their ranks as a police officer?
It varies from 5 years. Some went on to retire. It just depended, various years, different rank.
What's your favorite part of being a police officer, Chief?
Having the ability to mentor, hire, and make individuals, put individuals in a position where they can advance to beyond just being a patrol officer. So mentoring and hiring is very interesting to me, and I like to do that as part of my current role.
So since you told us about your favorite part, so now why don't you tell us about your least favorite part of being a police chief?
My least favorite part about it is the politics of government. Doesn't always go the way that it should go, because there's different moving pieces. So politically, the political part of it is a bit challenging for me.
How has your job changed over the years?
Technology-wise, the job has changed tremendously with the introduction of body cameras, social media, the 24-hour news.
So you said you had to wear body cameras now. What made that happen?
With society wanting to make sure that law enforcement was doing things the way that they were supposed to be doing it, and our government saw that, and I also agree that we should have them for accountability's sake. So when we speak to the community, we let them know this is what happened, this is why it happens, and then when you have the body cams to substantiate that, then that just strengthens what it is that we're doing as law enforcement.
So how many cases do you usually handle each month?
I currently don't handle any cases. I'm an administrator, so basically what my role would be is to oversee the cases that the officers or the investigators that they take on. My job is just to oversee their workload and to make sure that they're properly handling their cases.
So over years you get promotions, right, to get where you are?
Right. In order to advance, there's testing that you have to go through on the selection process, and if that's what the individual officer wants to do when he gets on the department, if he wants to advance to a level higher than what he is when he came in, then there's a process with a promotion process.
What would that process be?
It can be anything from an oral board, a written examination,
Get that stretcher up, get that head down, the head is down.
testing, depending on what the position is.
So what was the most challenging thing you had to do to become a chief?
I had to wait my turn, which was fine. You had to compete with other individuals who felt that they were as qualified. For the most challenging, making sure that I was in a position to be selected through my body of work.
How long have you wanted to be a police chief?
I didn't set out to be a police chief. That all came about through my previous supervisors who promoted me, and in the process of promoting me, it put me in a position where I could be considered to be an individual to run the department. So I never set out to do it. It's just one of those things that kind of happened.
How much does a police chief make annually?
Well, it depends on the makeup of the size of the community. It can be anywhere from $90,000 to $130,000. It just depends on the size of the community.
How many roles are there as a police officer?
You mean as far as positions or type of jobs? There's your regular officer, who's a patrol officer. Then you can specialize in the SWAT, narcotics investigation, detective, sergeants, captains, lieutenants, assistant chiefs. Those are some of the roles.
What has been your favorite role?
My favorite role as an officer?
Yes.
Well, my first assignment as a canine handler was most likely by far my best role as a law enforcement officer. I enjoyed the 5 years I had with my canine partner.
Did you want to be anything before you became a police officer?
Well, yeah, I wanted to play professional football, but that didn't happen. So,
Did you play football while you were in school?
yes, I did.
And what position did you play?
I played quarterback and wide receiver.
So what are the perks of being a police officer?
Well, you get to help people. That is rewarding. I consider that to be a perk. It's very rewarding to help someone who can't help themselves and to go away with the satisfaction of knowing that you were able to assist someone that may have been in some type of violent situation or a situation where they were just completely helpless, and coming there and providing them with a solution to their problem is very rewarding.
So how many hours a week do you do your job?
80, 85, it just depends.
Has being a police chief ever gotten in the way of your personal life?
No, it hasn't gotten in the way of my personal life. It is a lot of responsibilities, but you have to have a balance. So I've come to learn how to have a balance of work so that doesn't drift off into my personal life.
Have you ever thought of quitting your job before?
Quitting a job, yes, I have. Every day is not rosy. So there have been times where you see things that occur, you undergo things that, man, it makes you wonder, why am I doing this? But you reflect on that, you get through it, and then you realize why you got in it, and then you just go back and do it all over again.
What's kept you going through all the challenges?
My motivation, my passion for the job, my self-commitment to overachieve.
If you could change one law, what would it be?
I would like to see a law that's a little stiffer than it is today that will deter an individual from causing harm to a law enforcement officer or his companion animal, such as a horse, canine, or any working animal that is performing his job.
What is the most common crime that you've seen today?
Well, it's probably the use of the fentanyl, narcotics, drug abuse, overdoses.
Do you go out and see the people who have had a drug overdose, or would you go and send somebody else to handle that?
Actually, that's handled by our road patrol units. Occasionally, I may get out and come across them in the process of them being on the call, investigating and seeing what's going on, just so that I can understand what's going on in my community.
So what has been the most strange case that you've gone to?
I have gone to calls where it's strange for an individual to be completely nude and just running around in the parking lot. It's pretty strange.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for kids that want to be a police officer?
Well, I would say you got to be on the right path, finish school, be driven, have a focus. It's important that you have great associations with individuals that want to do their very best and don't have bad intentions. So main thing is to identify what you want to do early, then understand what it's going to take for you to get there. Everyone makes mistakes along the way. It just depends on what type of mistake you make. That is it going to be a long-lasting mistake, or is it going to be something that you can overcome? So as you're sitting here today, I would say think about where you're going to be in 15, 20 years and how you're going to get there. And you can't get there if you're a part of the system. So you want to avoid being a part of the system and being an individual who is trying to achieve the most you can out of life, and you don't want to have be brought into something negative through a negative interaction with someone, because that can really set you back, and then you may never get back on track, and then it's just all downhill from there. So focus on what it is that you want to do now, understand that, and then whatever it is you need to do to get to where you want to be, you got to work towards that right now. Think about it like this. If you're trying to run for the the presidency of the United States. You know how squeaky clean you got to be, because people come out of the woodwork with all kind of things. They remember you did this, you did that, and then is that really relevant? But you just got to watch what you do, because it's your social media and your friends that you hang out with. Things can come back and bite you if you're not careful. So you just want to be thinking about that. Would you, either of you, consider a career in law enforcement?
I think that I would.
Same. Yeah.
Good, good. I think it would be something that will be rewarding and very fulfilling. And if not, you can try it and just found out it was something not for you. Then obviously you can go in another direction. But every day is different. Nothing's the same. It's like going to a job and every day is the same thing. Every day in and out. It's not like that in law enforcement, because every day is different. You're dealing with different people. Different situations come up. There's no one way to handle something the same way every time. So there's a lot of excitement in it. If you like excitement, but if not, then you'll find that out very quickly as well.
I think that that's all for today. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this opportunity to come in and speak with you both and give you some insight as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I've had an opportunity to inspire you guys to come into law enforcement.
That was Youth Voices of Greater Cincinnati. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.